congratulations for this Final Four win and another finals appearance. Your thoughts about it?
Oh, thank you. First of all, I'd like to pay tribute to Adamson and Coach Nash. It's a really difficult job to play the game they played against LaSalle the other night. With all the emotion and the expenditure of energy and then to turn around and try and play a team that's been preparing for a week, is well rested, and hasn't been thinking about anything other than who they're going to face in the semis. And I think the game really was a reflection of that. We had our best offensive performance of the year. I think that when you get some time to prepare and your opponent doesn't have much time, and they were playing on fumes, they were playing on heart, they were playing on Nash's brain, and all of those things they have a ton of. But in the I guess the cauldron of a semifinal, you need more than that, and you need time to prepare, you need rest, and you need a full team hitting on all cylinders. And I think tonight we were that team, and they were just a bunch of fighters out there, and I really admire them for the fight they put up. We shoot almost 50% from the field, 57% from three. We haven't done that all year long. And as a byproduct of good execution, understanding what we wanted to do, and some pretty good scouting from our coaching staff on what we expected from Adamson, and we were pretty well prepared. And I really credit the guys for their execution today. But this is playoffs, and the reason that these two guys are here is not because Chris hit some threes and scored 15 points. It's because really Jerome just couldn't see anything for 3.5 quarters of the game, and that's a credit to these two guys. And that was a big part of the game plan. And he's a great player, and neutralizing him forces the rest of their roster to try and to do things that they're not entirely comfortable with. And these two guys just did a phenomenal job defending Jerome. And you don't win championships if you don't play defense.
Okay, Chris, your thoughts about, aside from the point production, your defense against Jerome has been one of your best players in the league.
My coach said credit to Jerome. He's a great player. My coach put me in the job to guard him with BJ and Sean. I think I wanted to take that role, and everything that they told me, I tried to just know that he's a good player, but listen to what the coaches were saying. It was tough. He'll get his, but I think as a team, our defense, we had so many rotations and so many guys stepped up, and I think that that was credit to what we do at practice, and I'm just happy we were able to contain him as much as we did today.
How about you, DJ? Your thoughts about this win?
Para sa akin, proud ako sa team ko, and credit din kay Jerome, last time ako siya, napakagaling niya, grabe. And gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa mga coaches na prepare po kami ng mabuti para sa game na to, and hindi kami nag-look forward to the finals kasi importante itong game na to. So yun, and ito na kami, balik ulit sa finals, and thank you.
Alright, the floor is open for questions. David.
Right, Coach, in the finals, your Blue Eagles will be facing UP. And by the time you face UP, that will be the, if I'm not mistaken, 8th and 9th time in 2022 alone that Ateneo and UP have gone against each other. Some players aren't there anymore, but most of the roster is pretty much the same. When you face another team that often in a calendar year, does that familiarity make it more difficult or a little more simple to prepare for a finals match?
Well, Goldwyn's smart, and he knows that we know what's going on. He knows that we have a very good coaching staff, but those of you that don't delve too deeply into the mechanics of the game and the tactics of the game, UP came out today and ran virtually an entirely new offense. We'll know that offense by Sunday. But that's the caliber of team that we are, and to answer your question, that means it's more difficult to prepare. And that's why coaches try to, that have smart teams, that have tough teams, they try to, give different looks, because familiarity breeds contempt. And it's not contempt for our opposition, it's contempt for their system, because we understand it. And so that's why you see all the radical changes that a coach makes. And it's not just changing the names of plays, entirely new plays out there. But I understand that. I've been in his shoes, and I know what the pressure is like that he's feeling right now. And he sees an Ateneo team that is probably playing its best basketball this season, but he knows that we're still heavy underdogs in this game. You might smirk at that. You might say that, I don't know what you'd say. But that intact roster that you're talking about is a championship roster. And that's a championship coaching staff. They did a phenomenal job last year. They did a phenomenal job today. But I know how pressure weighs on you. And, they will be feeling the pressure. And here's what I want to say about the pressure that we might be feeling. I want Moa and Araneta to be chock full of glue in every potential seat that is available. And I don't care what it takes to get those seats. I want the Ateneo faithful behind this team, because this team has already surpassed a lot of the expectations of them, and even, to be fair, of the coaching staff. But the good thing is they haven't surpassed their own. And that's a credit to them. But we need to fight with every ounce of the one big fight, the bebop. We need every single blue-blooded Filipino from around the world throwing every bit of weight they have behind this team. Because that's how much respect I have for UP, and that's how good I think that team is.
To Chris, you shot 4 triples, and Ateneo scored 16 triples in this game. Your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I think that's a credit to what Coach said, our execution. I think a lot of our guys, we found each other, a lot of reads. So yeah, I think that's credit to us, and the shots fall when we're wide open. So I think we have guys that can make shots. So yeah, I think our execution paid a lot to them.
Are there any more questions for the players? If not, we will let them go. Thank you, BJ and Chris. Now we wish you our post game.
Coach, what do you think is the difference between the Ateneo that played UP back in May in the finals and the Ateneo?
Certainly experience. That Ateneo team in May had a lot more experience than this team. But I think this team has the DNA of underdogs. And I don't think the team in May did. I think there was a little bit of a sense of ownership of the title, and we learned very, very hard way that nobody ever owns the title. Every season, you're not a defending champion. You're a new team playing for a new championship. And we may have lost sight of that last season, season 84. This team certainly doesn't have that perspective. They know that attitudinally, they just don't have any margin for error. And they played that way today. And we need to play that way again, on Sunday and every game of this finals. So maybe resolve is the word that we're looking for. You know, this team has all to prove themselves because they haven't yet. And if we're going to win a championship, we need to.
Coach, how about the UPL season 80 tournament history?
Not a lot different, to be honest. You know, just better. I think the way Gonzalez is playing right now, that really just deepens that guard lineup, which is a special guard lineup. You've got Pegalama and Avijano and Fortea and Gonzalez and Spencer. You know, should I go on? You know, and Alarcon and you know, all of these guys are elite UAAP players. All of these guys have big futures in the professional ranks. And he can do so many things. And they all understand him, you know. So they're really, really tough. And I think that, you know, that's probably the word that if we can find that, then we can compete. And it's not the toughness, you know, that you need to put up with, you know, some of the physicality in the UAAP that I think is, you know, ridiculous, to be honest. It's the mental toughness to withstand the pressure that UP can put on you.
Coach, you guys led by as much as 30 points at today's win. Heading into the best of 3 series against this UP Fighting Rose team, is this the team you envision to go up against the defending champion?
I think we're a little bit schizophrenic, and we have been all year. So this is the team that I hope shows up. But, you know, we also know that we can be a team that, you know, turns the ball over indiscriminately, that forgets where the rebounds are, that defends sporadically. But if we can be a 40-minute team, there's a lot of quality basketball in this basketball team. We had 21 assists again today. You know, when we decide to move the ball and find the open guy, like Chris said, there will be open players. And if we execute, people will be open. We have to find them and hit shots. If we do that, I'm pretty confident our defense will show up. That's why we're going to play it, to find out.
Tab, the execution today, how the players read and react offensively, what does that say of their maturity at this stage so far, especially when the pressure, like what you said, is becoming higher and higher?
Well, to be honest, we had a pretty clear knowledge of what we would be facing today. So I'd love to give all the credit to the players and say their read and reacts were great, and they were really good today. But we have Coach Ford, Aural, Sandy Arispacachaga, Sandro Soriano, John Jacinto, Gina Fable, and these guys were big factors in this game today, because they're all over Adamson, watching them and learning what it was going to be like to play them. And the players, to their credit, really took it on board, listened, paid attention, and executed the game plan. So it was a good team effort today.
Coach, during the press con, I asked you what it will take you back on top, and then you told me that it will be a process. What can you say about the process and the progress that you've made since then until now that you're entering the finals?
That's our 15th game, 12th win. So what's 12 divided by 14? Right? 6/7, some 80-some%. I think we're 80-some% along the way of the process. But it's the last, say, 15 to 17% that really makes the difference. And the process isn't complete until you can, hang your hat on that championship trophy.
Coach, getting into the finals is already a feat itself for any team, but this Ateneo team has reached 6 straight finals. How has the coaching staff kept this unit consistent despite the roster slowly changing every season?
Well, I think if you know me, you know the answer to that question. It's next practice, next game. We don't tend to look at finals or playoffs or championships. We really try to stay focused on what it takes to be better as a player and as a team every day, and it's a challenge to do that. It sounds nice, it sounds relatively simple, But you know, when all of the talk in the media and all of the talk in social media is about titles and championships and things like that, sometimes, you know, we're human. We get caught up in some of that. And, you know, we have such an outstanding coaching staff that continues to bring everybody back to the daily tasks. And that's the secret, is to stay focused on the daily tasks. And when you can do that, then your outcomes generally, they're a fair reflection of the work that you do. And that's all that we can ask in life, is that, you know, we get what we deserve. And I don't know if we deserve to be champions, but we're going to continue to work each day trying to do whatever it takes to move us a little bit closer to being the quality basketball team that it takes to be a champion.
Coach, the first game of the season against FEU, I remember you told us that even as in the media, we don't always maybe appreciate the big stage of the UAD with everything that goes on. With that in mind, and related to the last question I was just asked, this is the 6th straight year or 6th straight season that you have led the team to the UAP finals. I'm just curious, will there ever be a time down the road, given the big magnitude stage of the UAP, that you would allow yourself to reflect and look back at what you accomplished, given how big this league is?
Yeah, I think, you know, Father Time's undefeated, and I think when he's standing right in front of me, it might be a nice time to reflect. But what's the point, really? You know, I mean, I look forward to a reunion with my Tall Black squad of the 2002 World Champs. Someday I'll look forward to reunions with these guys if I'm still alive and kicking. And maybe that's the time to reflect. But, you know, tomorrow, I've got a job to do. And MVP likes it when I do my job. He doesn't like it when anybody, you know, shirks their responsibilities and doesn't do their job, because that man, you know, who is central to our program, like, he's one of the most remarkable people I've ever known. Because, you know, a man of his age, a man of his condition, you know, and it's pretty good, but he's not young, and he's a workaholic, and he's there every day. He's there every day. And I think, you know, he probably doesn't always like things I say. He probably doesn't always like the fact that I can be a little bit, you know, rough around the edges and things like that. But you know what he likes about me. He knows that I show up for work every day. And I always will. Because I think maybe a little bit like him, I know that there's no way to get to the top of the mountain unless you just keep scratching and clawing and climbing. And ain't no helicopters in my life, you know. You know, I think that's the answer to it. There's no time to sit back, and the second that you do that, UP gets a little bit better than you do, and NU gets a little bit better, and Adamson gets a little bit better. So I'm just not interested in being second place to any of those teams. So I have to try and get me and my team to outwork them.
Congratulations, Coach Tab. See you in the finals.